Good morning and welcome to my channel. This is Kate at the Journal Nest in Australia, and I'm so glad to have you with me. I am right now in my happy place. It's a Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. I have a reveal to do. I've got some pieces that I'm working on, and I have a really big project that needs to have lots of things happen to it today. So thanks for being here. I hope you've got your cup of tea or your coffee, your stitching, or whatever you're enjoying doing today. And I have to say, I'm racing to do this because I want to beat my next door neighbor mowing. Okay, so I have been working on the covered box and it's time to reveal it to you. This is my box finished. I've decided to just make it, because this is quite complex, I suppose, in design, that I was going to crochet something here, but I've ended up with a little velvet pink little tab, and I'm going to do the reveal. I'm holding it up. I hope that's not good at being straight. Da-da-da-da. So here is the top that I worked on in my last video with you, and since then I have, it's a bit hard to show, but I have glued in. I've sewed a, how would you describe that, around the sides. Sorry, I don't want to make you dizzy. Remember, I wasn't going to do this, but now I couldn't resist. So I've used some little pieces in here, and I've worked more on the base, if you call that. Up here, I've embellished, I've matched the yellow of the crochet there with the yellow down there. That was an old doily. Added some of my favorite flowers, top and bottom. And when we go to purpose, I was just going to show you what I'm thinking of doing with this. I'll bring up a messy nest. But I thought that this would be the perfect place to put some of my already cut up little pieces. So it's truly going to be a treasure box, because when I open the lid, all these colors are complementary, but I'll have the joy of going through. Oh, I didn't show you the other day, or yesterday actually it was, when I went to the sewing basket. I found these. I don't know what you do with them. They must hold something, but again, I thought in my pieces it'd be nice to have one of those. Oh, I might use that today. Let's keep that one out. Okay, so I have to say thank you, Rachel and Sarah, for the most wonderful, fun and pleasurable thing that I have done so far. I have loved making this box, and that's going to lead me to my next story. But as always, I like to start our slow stitching together off with a sense of mood and a sense of calm. So this is a piece that I have recently started using pieces from the sewing box, and this is part of my slow stitch and crochet piece. So to get me started and ready for today's big project, I'm going to start with my usual slow stitching. It's almost a meditation, really. And I know some of you make meditation rolls. So how are you? I hope you're doing things that make you happy and joyful. A few have commented on my sudden burst of pink and orange and all these bright colours, and I suppose that's reflective of my mood at the moment. I cannot believe how many of you have joined me on my journey, both in stitching and in journaling. So I'm feeling very, I don't know whether you ever feel particularly more creative than other, but I do feel actually inspired is the word, by looking at your videos and things on Instagram and what's the other one? Pinterest. I don't watch that very much, but I must do that. But literally last night I couldn't sleep. I woke up very early, and that's when I thought I could get down here early ahead of the neighbourhood sounds. But if the neighbour starts his mowing, that is okay. As we Aussies know, that's the quintessential way to start a Sunday morning here. I mean, not for me. I'm not out on the mower, but maybe you are. Because we all have that balance of outside and inside. So a bit of bright orange to get the show on the road. Might do one more little bit here. So I've got a row of 3. And as I've shared recently, I have quite a few projects on the go, and that's just how my mind works. But I am very pleased that I finished my little treasured box, because that's why I started this series with you, because I wanted to commit to getting things finished. This piece I was actually playing a minute ago, and I thought it could, of course it would need to be lined, but it would make some sort of pretty pouchy thing, or a little bag, dilly bag, not sure. But I'm already calm, and that's going to lead me to my next thing. So I'm just going to lay this down in here, treasure box. Oh, I don't want to take that away. And take you through some next steps. Have I got room to keep that here? I'm hoping so. Over here is my new collection recently from Oppie Shoppies and different places of Perlay, and I really am enjoying those. This was a gift from a dear friend. It's truly vintage. Look at that colour. So it's a beautiful rosy apricot. I want to use that today. Okay, so I'm standing up because you may not have seen what happened to me yesterday. I went to the sewing basket sale, and because I loved, it was a couple of days ago actually now, I love doing this so much. I found, oh my gosh, this. It is a huge sewing basket. So much that I can't leave it under the camera because you can't see anything else. It's got this, it's got a little clasp like this, but I'm going to cover it. And so this piece under here is going to be the cover on top. I'm going to use this to store my beautiful op shop and thrifted tablecloths. I can fold them up quite neatly in here. So you've just got to imagine that that has been, is always there for me to put it on top, but I can't. So I've got 2 pieces started. I'm going to go right around the side of the box. It's actually 6 inches high, so I've made a fabric strip and just started the initial basting. It's 52 inches. All of a sudden I'm talking in inches because I got given that beautiful, received in my vintage box, that beautiful old tape measure. So that's going to be around the side of the box. And here I've started to lay out the, those colours are just making me so happy because they're the story of this. I've started to lay out the top, which will be the equivalent to this, but for the big square. Now this scale is the largest slow stitching piece I've done. So it really is a trial and error. So that's why I'm going to take you on the journey. I've used underneath a variety of pieces that I picked up at the sale, and then older pieces of embroidery that aren't done. And I know quite a number of you have told me that you love to do that too, like collect unfinished embroideries. So I haven't stitched anything down much, so that's why we're going to do it together. I haven't got a lot of pins, but I suppose my idea is that I want to grow a garden where one flower or plant leads from the other. Now this mightn't stay here, and in fact I don't like that pointy edges, even if the flowers have to be odd shapes. So I try and get rid of triangles. So I'm just going to start with you with, let's do a blue. I've got a blue needle here. Yep, here it is. This is wool. This time the last thread was cotton, and I'm just going to start. It's sort of like basting, I suppose. I just want to get some of these pieces in place, and then we'll start to maneuver and add things. Actually, I need to start on this side, and I've just got to check that you're going to see. I need to move this up. This way. Here we go. Got also, oh, see, I've got all sorts of things under here, and so far good with the mower. I'm not sure if you can see this detail. This was a white worked, very old piece of, I don't know whether it was a doily or a table runner. Okay, here we go. Yep, you can see me. I'm just going to start in this corner, and it's going to be running stitch, around the edge. As I said, this is the biggest ever piece I've done, and so it's going to take me a little while to organise where I put my hands and fingers. But I'm sure you'll be patient with me. And what about you? You're working on a large project or something small? If you're doing the prompts, you finished your box? I actually saw that some people have done 2 already. So I think it's going to turn into the next prompt before I finish this one. But as I said, I loved it so much that I think because this is useful, I will be inspired to finish it. And again, the beauty is that I'm just going to take this up, okay? Because I'm very wonky, but probably more wonky than I wanted to be. This wool is going through a lot of layers, and I probably cut it too long. But as we've all told each other, we're just, oh gosh, this is hard, yucca. Maybe too hard at this point for basting to use this wool, so I'm going to actually swap this out when I get to the end of this little part, because it's just getting caught too much. I'm going to have this battle. There we are, that's better. I just don't want to be defeated, but that's gone very wonky. Tuck that under and see if we can use 3 more stitches to get to the bottom. But by the time that has something appliqued over it, it will be fine. Like that. One of you lovely subbies referred to my style as casual the other day, and I really liked that, because I'm forever apologising or trying to explain that I am not the neatest of stitches, but I do absolutely love it. So let's change tack. I'm going to use some of this perle thread. Actually, why don't we use one of these variegated? Oh, why don't we use this one? Because that's pretty and it won't show up too much if I make a mistake. It's just fallen off the table, as things tend to do around me. I'm going to use my threader. Even though it's skinny, it just saves you having to wait for Kate to thread. All right. I left this on. I'm not sure that this will stay, or it might end up coming back like that. But it's sort of a different take on a piece of lace on the edge. So the beauty of this piece is I know that it works fine to glue to fabric. Is it? Oh, goodness me. To fabric glue the wool straight onto the top of the basket. So you don't have to worry too much about the back and what it looks like. And I do want to get onto some nice embroidery stitches this morning, so I'll do this as fast as I can. So we usually like to cover up one edge with the next. And I am thinking of my lovely friend who's gifted me this cotton. I'm not sure about if you have the opportunity to go to a slow stitching group or a community gathering in any way, but I know I am so blessed to have discovered one at the Green Door Studios, Zoe, who, as we said the other day, she's making magic happen, because we're coming from all over the place to either go to her workshops, or I go to her monthly open studio, and we sit and work on our projects together. And they're not all stitching, there's knitting and crocheting and painting and quilting, some with machines. It's just a wonderful variety of what we're all up to. But if someone has too much of something or says, I saw this and thought of you, it's becoming this lovely chance of sharing each other's stories. So I know that this cotton was given to me out of love, and it was a treasure for the person who gifted it back, who gifted it to me. So I want to give back and appreciate that. To my subbies all over the world, thank you so much for telling me where you are and what you're up to. I was thinking, I'm sure she won't mind. One of you was stitching under the vine leaves in Greece. How amazing is that? That made my day. And all of us have favourite places to stitch. I'm just going to go down this way. Random journeys. Speaking of journeys, I have a very long haul flight this week, and so I'm going to take my stitching for the first time and see how I go. I mean, I might do this instead of watching movies, or just listen to a podcast, who knows, but I will keep you updated. And if I disappear and don't post, just know that I wish I was, but I do have to work sometimes. Okay. All right, let's play with a little bit of composition now. I'm thinking that, look at this, that was original cross stitch on pink. I've never used sort of just plain tablecloth, and over here is flannelette sheet from the op shop. I love that. Feels comforting to me. So let's grow the garden. And this was off a very used placemat. So let's just play with the garden. I like the idea of one flower turning into the next. I've got the lily here. I've got that one going into there. Pink and pink. Strong pink here, yellow up here, blue. Oh, could I work out a way of... Let's have a look at what we can do here. I think this little flower needs to be... Some of you might recognise this was an op shop find on different, it's not on linen, but I just love the colours and the flowers, so this piece is inspiring. Oh, you can't see that little bottom down there. Okay, let's think of that being there. So we've got yellow, pink and blue. And remember, there's no, we don't make mistakes, we just make it up as we go along. Not sure about that one. I do like the bluebells here. I've got blue under there. hesitating. Oh, is it more logical? Yellow, yellow, pink, pink. And then we can grow outwards maybe. So let's have a play in here and see if we can stitch these down and then do some embellishing. Look at that. In fact, I'm glad that's there. That's beautiful. I don't know whether, what's that? That's cool. I've got wool threaded up, but now I'm going to use, let's use one of these variegated. And they're beautiful. I think I'll use this one. Let's just swap needles for a minute. I've had a few questions about how many strands do I use. As a beginner, I'm not a beginner. Remember, I used to say a long time ago, and I'm coming back to it. These are easy because the choice is made. I just use the one strand. The 4-ply wool I use as is. The embroidery is the stranded ones. I'm not using very many of at the moment, so I'm not quite sure how I will go on that journey. Maybe I'm avoiding that. So basically I'm using them whole is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to do a Fleur Woods course later in the year and in March next year at the Green Door, and I'm so looking forward to that because I haven't done thread painting or that style of work yet, and I'd love to learn. It's got a little knot. Why is that? Oh, there we are. Does that happen to you? Take my pin out of the way. If I do go quiet, I hope you enjoy that too, because I'm a naturally quiet person. It's been quite strange for me to learn to talk to myself all the time. And I know many of you turn the sound off anyway, but if I go quiet, I'm just loving the process so much. So the beauty of this variegated thread is, look at that, like this is already stronger, and then it's like the light is reflecting on this side. And for those of you who live in the US, I wanted to share with you that last night I even looked up thrift shops in the place that I'm going, and I found that there were plenty of them. So I'm hoping to squeeze some time to go thrifting in the States. Wouldn't that be fun? So there's another little handle. I'm wondering if I can find some quilts, or I'm not sure. So that will be a little bit of a muddle there, but that's okay. I'm not sure whether that, let's tuck that over there. So definitely slow stitching this morning, but I couldn't think of anything better to do. My husband's gone off to golf. So the house is quiet, and yay. I mean, he's absolutely wonderful, but I think he's doing his thing and I can do mine. But let's just check that we're still recording and you can see me. Yep. Look at that. The garden is coming together. And that's not because of me, it's because of the beauty of these old pieces that I've rescued. And they're blooming again. Or having a chance to bloom again. Okay. I had an interesting conversation the other day when we were all sitting around sewing, and quite a few shared that they found it difficult to be free to stitch where they want, that they still hear the rules in their heads. And I said, well, that's a wonderful thing. Look at the amazing technique that you've learned along the way, and that you can really celebrate that skill. So I'm certainly not an advocate of anything other than doing you. And I know myself that this work is completely evolving the more I do it. Okay, I want to finish that there because I don't know where I'll go afterwards. So let's change that up. And let's do some fun flowers that I actually stitch. So let's not forget that goes around there. I nearly forgot which way was up then. All right, let's do some flowers up here. I've got the pink in. Those of you who haven't seen it and don't like to cut doilies or pieces that you find up and they're odd shapes, just sew them together and put some what's that puffy stuff? I use an old cushion and take the, don't know what it's called, out, can't think of the word, and I have these in all sorts of places. So I'm going to do, I keep forgetting the name of this, but it has become my favourite. You do 5 spokes. What's that green thing doing there? Let's do 1 there. There, one up there. So this is going to be huge. I also know there's all sorts of variations on these. You can have 7 spokes. You can decorate the spokes and all sorts of things. I'm just a beginner and on these, but I absolutely adore making them. Over and under. And I'm getting faster. Oh. I just have so much fun going up and down. It's very satisfying. Makes me think of weaving, which I've never done. So that's another one for my list. I did look up, I was listening to Rachel the other day and she mentioned Jude Hill, and I watched one of her videos and I thought, oh my gosh, she has holes and then she weaves over them. So I'd love to do that. Okay, so this is adding, so everything here has been flat and we're adding texture and height and just interest. So there's the first one. Let's go on this way. Let's check that you can see me. Yep. Actually, I could make these all day. But I tend to do them in 3s. 1, that's going to be the 5th. Oops, flipping everywhere. It's funny, I don't even know which way I do them, whether it's clockwise or anti. It doesn't really matter again, I don't think. That's why I love the wool though. You get a result quite quickly and beautifully bouncy. What have I done? So that's over. I've missed a spoke, but we will make that work. Go 2 unders, 1 over, we're right again. We're not really, but I'll just say that this is a different looking. Aha, there's the spoke under there that I keep missing. This is quite wonky. Let's go over, we'll go under here, and I'll take that the sign as let's start a new one. But I'm hoping you can see that subtle difference in colour. So it's just a really effective way. And the thread does it for you. as I do this one, I'm thinking, what will we do next? I think we need something. Might add a little, actually I won't say anything because I don't know what I'm going to say. So let's wait for the inspiration to come. And I know too that I can sort of keep going and going until you don't see any of the spokes. And sometimes I don't mind them sticking out as well. I know what we're going to do. We're going to do some blue daisies. So I've got these up here. I'm going to come down to this area, which is quite plain. I haven't even sewed that down because I'm not sure that that angle is right there. But I do love those beautiful little, we'll put something special in the middle. Okay, she's getting carried away, but let's get the treasure box out. Let's see what little bits we've got. Okay, a little flower. Oh, that's right. Okay, maybe that was what was in the back of my mind. Also got this tiny little white daisy. Do you do this? Do you gather your bits and see now? I just look at that and think, oh, I'd love to use a little bit more. So it's going to be an inspiration box as well. This is me. I like to gather things and see them, and then that gives me an idea. All right, what was Kate thinking about? She thought we might, trying to get as many pink and blue. Okay, this poor thing was damaged. 1, 2, 3. I notice just in these last few bits of work, I'm avoiding red. I'm being a bit picky with my greens. Just as well, that's not my diet because that wouldn't be very healthy. Okay. That hasn't found a home yet, but this probably has. That can stay in there. And I will get back on track to what I said I was going to do. I want to do some blue daisies around here somewhere, so that this is sort of a bluebell area of the garden. And then I can start tying. Oh, maybe these go up here. Oh, yes. Let's audition them while we sew our blue daisies. There we are. That bit's got a bit of red. But I like the for some reason that it's making me feel happy. All right, let's get cracking. I want some blue. Let's use blue wool, variegated. just leave that. That doesn't seem to want to come out of there. Okay, now note I haven't even sewed these bits on. I probably should have, but I'm still thinking that I may not be completely in the right place yet. Well, I suppose that's silly to say, but I'm not sure what stitch I want to do. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. So the one thing I'm noticing, this old whatever it was, a bit hard to go through with the needle. And I think you get that when you sew fabrics that are not designed for this sort of wool. I hope it's not like a return to the other time. Oh, I really wanted, what's happening? Maybe it's on the pin. Find out what is happening. Oh, there we are. I completely missed the daisy part of that, so let's go out bigger. So this is going to be a really wild flower with different size petals, and not perfect because that one's almost got only 1/2 of a petal, but we'll get better. And because this is the light end of the wool, you can hardly see this one, which is sort of nice when you make mistakes, except they're not mistakes, they're just part of the journey. Sorry if I'm making this look like a struggle. I suppose it does. That's the challenge that comes with many layers. Oh, just picked myself with a pin. That's why I don't like having pins everywhere. And why I probably should have basted down. Okay, I'm going to come down here because this will be easier to sew. And it's a little trail of the blue flowers and the daffodils coming down into the yellow section of the garden. Much easier already, I can feel that going through. Now you'll notice I've got that raw bit of unused tapestry there that will be covered. I might do some cross stitch myself. Who knows? So I suppose if I talk about finishing this prompt, I feel excited that I've finished the baby covered box. I've set myself the challenge of the large one, mainly because that basket was just sitting in front of me and needed to be rescued. It's quite big, so I won't be carrying it around, but it will sit with my stitching bits and pieces and be an inspiration for opening up the lid and seeing what's inside. I'm not going to line the insides on that one though, it's too big and it will have too many things in it. Oh, sorry if this is tedious, I've got too long a string. I know what's wrong, but I keep going. There we are, and because I haven't stitched enough, let's just finish this thread with some running down to the bottom. And then I'll stitch the this around here too if I've got enough thread. So this is truly my random style. It evolves as I'm stitching, and I just listen to where the needle wants to go, or where my eye catches. So if you've listened to my other videos, there's nothing more satisfying. So we're going to finish with this. I love these already made holes around the edge of a doily between the crochet. So in a way, it's like threading a special ribbon through them, but made of thread. And as I do this, I just realised, are we ready for a new prompt from Rachel and Sarah this week, or have we got another week to go? Maybe another week? I remember them saying something about there being 5 weeks. I'm not sure. So if there is, I've got more time to finish this one too. Here we go. All right, let's do a recap and see if I think we have managed to do something. So again, sorry if this is going to be too close, but we may as well just check in on progress. Here's the huge big basket, 12 by 12 it is, but oh, that's close to the camera now, isn't it? So that's going to live on top. Lots and lots of embellishment, tucking all those ends in, growing the garden all over. And then in front, look at this, a piece of old fabric, all cotton, made in England. How amazing. And this bit here, yes, I've started a garden, and that's going to be on the center front. I haven't got a room to show you, but you just have to imagine that that's coming down here. So I'll have this strong and this leading to this bit down there. Okay. So that's the work in progress. So I've got 2 pieces that I can keep going with. I've got, oops, love that sound. I've got this piece too, which is a standalone at the moment, but we will see. And then I've shared with you my completed box with the little velvet tab, the garden in the center, this on the top, and inside the top, the garden on the bottom. Can you see that? And then it's hard to hold, but the idea that velvet, open garden of flowers, and that will be home to my treasures. I want to say thank you so much for joining me. It's been a long one, but see, time flies for me when I'm talking with you in the garden. This is Kate. How about we leave it like that beside my beautiful variegated threads. So this is Kate in the journal nest and stitching away with you. Saying bye, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.